Well, aloha everyone, and welcome to August. Can you believe it? I cannot believe we're in August already. It's such an exciting, amazing time. I missed everyone. My intention last week was to put out 3 different videos. I was so excited to talk about a number of things, including the Mayan Galactic calendar, and we're going to be talking about physical body upgrades and sensations. And my body said no, you can't output. You need to rest and restore. So last week was all about upgrades and really integrating a lot of the various emotional releases that I was sharing. You know, when we have these massive heart openings, expansions, releases of programs and stories, you know, these are all stored within our body. We are like a living, walking library. And you never know how it's going to hit you physically. So just wanted to share that I'm so happy to be back. Still not sleeping, all of these wonderful things going on, but we are just so excited to be with you and sharing. So thank you so much for your patience and for being here with us in this now. So July and August are definitely my favorite months of the year for the energies. The cosmic influence of Sirius and the Lyrans, the Lyran Lion feline beings from Lyra or Lyra, however you want to say it, are some of the most magnificent and supportive energies where we really start to feel strong. We feel our power. We feel this increase of that light here. And it's really influenced by the sun, our physical sun here, local sun, Solaris, and Sirius, that special star kind of sun system that we have of a higher octave, a kind of white blue star solar light. And here in the north, this solar arc is like, it's like being in full sun in the afternoon, right at noon, at peak sun right over you, and there's no shadow, right? Just like when you're standing outside, sun beaming down, there's hardly any shadow save for where your own body is kind of blocking the light. It's a powerful time for us to really come into our power. The Syrians are not really a very emotional species of star family. They're very focused. They are kind of cosmic programmers and architects, and so they support us in kind of putting our shit on the shelf for the human ego, the stories, the pains of the past, to clearly see and move forward. So I'm so excited about this energy report and broadcast to share with you for the month of August, because just so much is going on. So we're going to go really deeply today into the energies of Leo and the lions, the Lyran beings. We have been in the Leo energy since July 23rd, formally. The sun went into Leo July 23rd. However, in our own personal experience, when we talk about the Lionsgate energies, this starts in our experience in early July, usually around July 1st, the 3rd, with the Syrian portal opening, because July starts to open us up to the heliacal rise, where we are aligning with that heliacal rise or solar arc rise of Sirius with our own cosmic sky, our own section of the sky. It's all lining up. This is where those phrases like the dog days of summer, this is all coming from ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, a lot of these amazing codes given to us. And so the Lionsgate for us is the opportunity to really connect with the Syrian and Lyran energies and really see ourselves through this lens of courage and these royal codes of the lion. Amazing energies. So the lions and the Syrians and the Lyrans, all these different names for these lion beings, they oversee the shift for us, with us, at the end of July, from one galactic year to the next, and they are present with us. So the last day of the last Mayan year is classically always on July 24th, and then we have the day out of time on July 25th, which is a 0 point kind of day where we have to kind of really look at everything. It's a good day for, you know, being internal and assessing the entire last year. Then we have the Mayan Galactic New Year on July 26th. And then we roll into the Lionsgate portal. So for us, the Lionsgate starts in July immediately with the Syrians and with that Lyran influence. What's interesting about this time period right now, I want to ask you, do you remember that amazing solar eclipse we had in America, North America, in August of 2017, and how it crisscrossed, right? There was a huge event where it crisscrossed over, starting in the Oregon kind of area of the Pacific Northwest and crisscrossing over the entire country. Do you remember the magic of that experience? and the collective energy, and people were celebrating. They were coming together to have watch parties. I mean, it was really a beautiful example of everyone coming together for a cosmic event and reveling in this miraculous experience together. Very multidimensional experience for everyone. And at that time, I remember learning that there was a golden neutrino explosion that had happened. There was a collision that had happened in our section of the sky, and there was just this raining down of these golden neutrinos upon the planet. And I remember exactly what I was doing that day. I was working with a client as a ghostwriter and helping her write her book, and it was all metaphysical content. And I remember we were sitting on the couch in her office working on transcribing, and I was just sitting there and just seeing and feeling all of these golden neutrinos just raining down. And I knew, wow, this is a really big deal, and I don't know what it means. I don't know when we're going to really start to see the effects of this, but it felt like a divine dispensation and a cosmic blessing for us that would one day sprout into our dreams coming true, into more of our divine destiny, what we've always fantasized about, these secret, sacred, holy desires perhaps that were tucked away deeply in our heart that we held close our whole life since we were little, and maybe, we're scared to share them, we're scared to indulge even thinking about them, kind of thing. Well, now where we are is touching on that energy. So that's going to bring us now into the codes of Leo and the Lion. And I want to share a little bit about my own personal experience with Leo energies and with the Lion energies. So I am a Leo rising, and I want to share that this is the first year that I am really understanding the inner workings of that Leo energy and how to own that energy. And I'm so excited to share this encouragement with everyone. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Everyone has Leo in their chart. Everyone has a lion being somewhere in your chart. So I encourage you, go to astrotheme.com. You need your birth time. Plug in your birth date, your birth time, your location, and see, where is Leo in my chart? What are these amazing soul codes where I have a little lion within myself that's actually a big lion, and we get to choose, are we the small kitten or are we the massive lion right now? We always are wavering between different states of being, whatever's going on. We're in the past, maybe looking at something again. But for me, the codes of the lion have been present my whole life. Since I was little, I always would have these dreams about being a lion or being a panther or a cougar. And I didn't grow up with TV where we were on the big island of Hawaii. There was no reception, which was a huge blessing. So we didn't have the typical exposure to TV and all that programming right out the gate. So I would read National Geographic, and every time I saw these amazing wild cats, I just knew I was part cat. And I really loved their energy, and I felt that they were always around protecting me. Growing up on the big island, there's a lot of wild animals, the feral animals that really do very well, like cats, because it's a nice climate. There's plenty for them to eat. Cats are natural kind of scavengers. So I would always be finding cats in the jungle and adopting them and taking care of them and really enjoying that connection. And then fast forward a few years later, maybe about 9-10 years old, I started reading The Chronicles of Narnia with C.S. Lewis. And that golden lion, Aslan, was such a huge totem for me. And I felt like it was this soul level guardian that was protecting me so I could get through the emotional hardship and not just completely self-destruct or just completely try to get off the planet. So it was like this beautiful, protective, divine, Christed energy always with me, these lion beings. So then you fast forward 20 years and I learn about the Lyrans and the feline beings, and now starting to finally be able to fully embrace my heart and the chambers of the heart, which we're going to talk about that in even more depth. I have so much passion to share with you with this as someone who originally was so shut down and really did not have any connection with my emotions or ability to really process or even name them, to now this other layer of seeing all of these heart chambers like this beautiful stained glass, and it's just infinite, infinite capacity for us of love and the true power of the universe, love, and taking ourselves into that next octave of what is the highest frequency that we can experience in the human experience. Love is one of them. I would say it's second only to inspiration. And this ties into leadership in a way. Creative leadership, light leadership, showing up, stepping up in our lives, and bringing inspiration to others. And if we break down that word, inspiration in spirit, it's also the word for when we're breathing. And so it's this whole beautiful reanimation of our life force, a new inspiration of what it really means to be a divine human here in this experience in the physical during times of shift, and to come together, all of this amazing energy. So thank you, because I'm so excited to share. We're going to get into a little bit of the themes of Leo and the lion. That song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine. And so the invitation here is, where have you ever dimmed yourself? Maybe people projected jealousy upon you, or animosity, or tried to cut you down because they didn't know how to acquire their own light. They didn't know how to get in touch with their own light. So they're threatened by that warmth of the sun, right? The sun rules the sign of Leo. It is the most powerful planet. You think about, what does the sun do? It gives life. It gives warmth. Everything revolves around the solar arc, all of our growth cycles, all of this going on. And so it's a very, very, very powerful atomic energy of your light. So you just think about the sun and think about, well, gosh, I have that. I am connected to that energy. This is really about starting to own that shine. And there are codes of royalty here with Leo and with the lion. There are aspects of being the king and the queen, a leader, a diplomat. And you think about that when we talk about the leadership roles here, it's really not necessarily that you're parading around, in this pomposity and like barking out orders at people. We're not talking about that. We're talking about taking the lead in your own life and speaking up, having boundaries, really having a vision, sticking to a protocol and a system to create the vision, having those encounters and those direct engagements and communications with others. You think about this wonderful metaphor here. What does a king and a queen do? They meet with people, right? They have meetings. They are surveying what's going on. They're in charge of looking at the agriculture of their land and their entire kingdom. Well, what is your kingdom? What's in your kingdom? How is the abundance of your kingdom? How are you feeling about it? Is there famine? And we say this could be a metaphorical as well. Do you feel destitute in your heart light? So these are such powerful themes of courage, heart-centered living. We talked about that sunlight, that solar component, the freedom to shine your light. And there's this magical child, right? Also Leo rules children, parenting. So there's a lot coming up for us with the inner core wounding of when we were a magical child, just, freely expressing ourselves, and maybe someone put us down. Someone said something that wasn't very nice or very conscious, and it really just, we're going to shut that down. I don't want anyone to see that and come after me again. These weird things that happen in the human experience. So allowing that pure heart energy to begin to emerge. When we're kids, a lot of times we're funny, right? We're comedians, we're performers, we like attention, right? We want to feel like we matter. There can be some drama, right? We're really into our feelings, and we really feel good when another person honors our feelings, honors our emotions, our experience. So if you had experiences of being emotionally shut down or rejected or even called names for being an emotional being, trying to express yourself very young, right? We're talking about really young formative years right now. You see how this can impact us in this now. And now we get to free ourselves of this. We want to feel seen. We want to feel important. We want to feel relevant when we're children. And if you had neglect or any of these other dynamics going on, now this is coming up for us to say, well, you know what? That happened then. That was really more about the other person and these wonderful lessons I came in to learn. A lot of times this is about teaching us humility so that we're not an egomaniac, right? And that's part of that balancing, is that the sun is a very strong energy. And it's about love and integrity and honor and sacred respect, being humble, being grateful for our gifts, and also roaring when we need to. And so these are some of the upgrades offered by Leo. We talk about the lion's roar, the courage to speak up, the courage to say, nope, that's done. We're not doing that anymore. To say no to what does not feel good. And this applies across the board. So sometimes we are in these teaching roles with people in our immediate surroundings, whether that's professionally, the nuclear family, clients, starting to really set the boundary of what the expectation is. And if others can't uphold that, that's okay. That's their path. There's going to be a split. Call this the frequency differential. We are in charge of declaring and putting out our boundary of sacred respect. We're here to offer the world to people. But respect is important, right? Boundaries are important, right? Another major theme that we were hearing so loudly with the end of July was just do it. Just do it. Just go for it. Take a risk. Whatever your heart is asking you to do, these secret dreams and desires for your mission, your career, creative expression, write the book, whatever it is that's coming through that you never allowed yourself to indulge in, which you know and you can feel it in your bones is highest aligned. It's that we have resistance to trusting. Like, really, can it really be that easy? Can I really succeed doing what I love the most? Doing what comes naturally to me? Really, is that real? These are the kinds of bombastic self-confidence that is the invitation with Leo, with this sunlight, to be bold, to glitter, to shine, to put it out there. This has so much to do with how we see ourselves, how in the past this was through the lens of other people and their own stuff. We weren't seeing ourselves clearly. And there is a lot, of course, with this, with Venus, the relationship theme with others, and how we operate and shine in relation to others. And yet we have to look at this as a radiation. The light is beaming outwards. Nothing that doesn't serve, nothing that is a negative influence is allowed inside. So you raise the drawbridge, to use that symbolic imagery of the castle. You have discernment of what comes in. Does it serve the greatest good and the greater whole? Then it comes in. If it doesn't, and it has nothing to do with you and it's someone else's process, it stays out. So on that note, owning your light. Sunlight is so bright and warm, and it illuminates shadow. That can threaten other people who aren't yet ready in their path, in their own light quotient, to see certain things about themselves. So a lot of things come into play. One of the most important things that I want to make sure I really touch on here is this. This was huge for me. If you have never felt seen, and sometimes there can be a little bit of a combination of being scared to be seen and come out, right, with whatever you're here to do, trusting our mission, trusting our hearts and our souls and what we are told to do from on high. There's a combination perhaps of being afraid to be seen and then also not feeling seen and feeling discouraged and trying to find that middle ground. So this huge key code here, I want to make sure that I really share. Even if no one sees you, and this is hypothetical, even if no one sees you, you see you. I see me. I know who I am. I know my value. I'm here to do this, and I'm really proud of myself. I've come a long way. I really love who I am. I'm really happy with who I am now. Like, you really want to start working with this positive kind of affirmation. Abraham Hicks will call it laying down the pipes, laying down the gridwork, calibrating yourself into states of reverent joy and gratitude, and really, truly, it's about unity. It's about self-love. Even if someone else is having their own process and they're in their own head, they're in their judgment, whatever the story is, doesn't matter. They're not in the frequency space to be able to see you because their heart isn't open right now. That has nothing to do with you. You see you. Really important here to have the courage to shine now and ignore any negativity. And with this, really just owning that everyone has a sparkle. Everyone is special in their own way. That's the whole point. So it's up to us to hold this truth and this love and reflect that out, shine that, beam that out to everyone, just like the sun shines tirelessly every day. That's its job. And this is a unique expression. And it's not up to us how others respond to this. We are a shining example for what is possible, for the love and the joy and the freedom and the self-acceptance that is possible as each of us claim unabashedly, with such courage, no more fear. We claim our authentic self. And we celebrate this newfound reconnection, relationship with our heart, with ourself, with our divine service mission. There is so much of a celebratory energy with this. I just want to celebrate another day of living. I love that song. So we're here broadcasting that frequency to anyone who resonates with it. It's very simple, it's on purpose, and there's not an egoic component about it, like, look at me. The sun doesn't say any of that. It just shows up to do its job. Any jealousy, any put downs, starting to just see, okay, well, people are still dealing with their shadow. I'm in my light with this. Others are in their shadow with this, honoring that and not taking it personally and not letting it dim you. If it's too much for someone, you just scoot along, go somewhere else. And that will happen naturally. There's a really important aspect happening right now with Venus. There is so much going on with Venus, and this is all part of this new self-seeing and new self-appreciation, reassessing your values. And this is where relationships come into play, because there could be shifts in relationships if you're not on the same page with somebody. If someone is being conditional, or their values are a completely different set of values, perhaps they're leaning more towards the material right now, and you're a blend of material and, consciousness and spirituality, like you want it all, and others are still in certain sections or segments of the process. That's okay. We're all on our own unique journey. So it's being comfortable declaring, this is part of that lion's roar. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is what I want. What do you want? How do you feel? Encouraging others to come into that and to shine their own light on their desires. It's all heart-centered, consciousness related. This is going to affect relationships. It's going to bring in new relationships. It might close down some that were already existing. This has to do with money with Venus. So Venus went retrograde in Leo. Now Venus is in Virgo. But Venus being in Leo, she was in Leo for a long time in June. And this was a huge gift, because all the codes we talked about with this Leo energy and the lion energies, now we take in a deeper level of that heart-centered beingness with the codes of Venus, which is all about our relationships, our values, our self-worth, money, our heart's desire. And so all of these themes have been coming under the radar for all of us. How do we value ourselves? How do we receive money in abundance? How are our relationships? Do they feel balanced? Are we on the path together? Does it feel like we're butting heads? Are we partnering and working together towards a common goal, common values? Do you feel that the other person is checked out and they're kind of just letting you do all the work? Where's the imbalance? So this is a really powerful time. And with this Venus retrograde, we've got 40 days and 40 nights of this all through the month of August. And then it ends September 3rd, September 4th. So on top of working with these Leo themes of really seeing ourselves and starting to add a higher level of honoring ourselves and our path, no longer putting ourselves down or devaluing, right? Or having low confidence, or not allowing ourselves to desire what it is that we desire for fear of disappointment. It's really about transitioning into love from fear on a whole new level of our lives. Then we add in this Venus energy of all of these themes that we discussed, and really looking at ourselves. And this is all just so much heart work. It's so much emotional work. And so you may be finding yourself taking time away, having more internal reflection time, or like myself, really needing to rest a lot to integrate all of this, because it's a lot of information. It can be exhausting, but there's a finger of God happening in the sky. It's a special cosmic astrological alignment. It's also called a yod, but the finger of God is pointing at something with your values. It's really about becoming so honest with ourselves about our values and how we are seeing that show up or not show up in our relationships, in our self-talk, our value in ourselves. How are we investing in ourselves and our dreams? And of course, this is all tied to money as well, because it's about life force energy. Our abundance comes through the heart in these kind of new earth frequencies. That's how creation comes about, from a very pure place. I'm so excited to share. I've got an amazing upcoming Lionsgate webinar on 8/8 at 10 a.m. PST live on Zoom. Only $33 on the New Earth One network. The link will be below in the description and in the comments. But I am so excited about this offering, because it's all about where I've been these last few years and diving really deeply into this, into the heart, getting in touch with values and worth, our dreams, releasing fear of disappointment and blocks to our desires. Also decompressing our emotions, anywhere we have judgment or suppression with our emotions. We're going to start to flip it over, where we're no longer afraid to feel, afraid of disappointment, or repressing, suppressing. We're going to flip that now to receive the wisdom, the blessings, to hear the language of the heart. So this workshop, I'm so excited about this. It's the Sacred Heart of the Lion, Awakening Holy Desire. And we're going to be working with the royal star of Archangel Raphael, which is Regulus. Regulus, the heart of the lion in the constellation of Leo. We're going to be working with the Lyrans, the Lyran Lion beings, the Syrians, all these different feline star family. And this is a really potent reclamation of our sacred heart, to be free, to be an emissary of divine love, divine purpose, and authentic expression. And so we're going to be activating the royal codes of Leo. Like we said, everyone has an inner Leo lion aspect in your chart. And what are the teachings for you with this? We will release rituals of old programs, the identities this imprinting that happens within us, in our heart space, in our heart chambers, from outside influence of any kind. This class is going to show you how to enjoy your heart space, how to get in touch with it, how to start to occupy your inner world yourself, for yourself, with yourself, and to really start to feel your heart, start to trust your heart, to feel how beautiful, kind, and unconditional your heart is and has always been there for you. We just didn't know how to get in touch because there was a lot of shells, right? We all have shells around this. So we're going into a whole new depth of perception, of feeling, because the emotions in the human experience are our superpower. And it really is time for us to stop being afraid of feeling, because we're afraid to feel bad. We're afraid to feel pain or suffering or disappointment. We came here to feel it all. Yes, sometimes those emotions are a part of this, but there's so much more. It's not just one or the other anymore. And we've talked about this with the heart getting so big that you could be going through something stressful or having some angst or some suffering or some grief, and you can still feel the love. You don't have to pick one or the other. With the heart being open and diving deeply into these chambers and activating these different chambers, you don't have to separate off and feel like you're in a hellish experience anymore. We can have intensity and discomfort, but we can start to learn from these instead of rejecting them and suppressing them. So we're working actively with the subconscious and these different archetypal forces that are really our superpowers. It's about getting in touch with this depth. It's about getting brave, feeling that courage, and venturing out of the shallows. I'm so excited about this class. It's going to be, I think, one of the most deep classes I've ever done. I'm just feeling so passionate about the juicy sacred heart, and to really support as many people as feel this call to start to come into touch with this place. And I want to leave you here with a little bit of an activation of how to get in touch with the depths of your heart. You say your name. So I say, I am Merissa. I am here now in this moment. And I invite you to feel this moment when you do this. So feel the words, feel the energy around you. So you want to close your eyes, and then you can repeat everything. So I am, and you say your name. I am here now in this moment. This is my moment. I trust this moment. This is me having this experience of presence here and now, in this moment. And you can repeat this over and over again. And you can augment it and write these down, write your own version. But it's really about getting out of the head and sinking into the heart, like you're falling into this luxurious bed and really sitting in that seat of the heart, that throne, and feeling the moment and the space around you. Because the head will go back in time and loop stuff forward into the future and fear stuff or try to control. This is about feeling the fullness of the now moment and really feeling your heart. Different frequency, right? Than the mind and the looping and the stories and all the bullshit. This is a new depth. This is a superpower for you. Now that I've got a little bit of energy back, keep an eye out. I'm going to go more in depth about the Mayan Galactic calendar system and the codes of this Mayan Galactic New Year. I feel it's really important to go in depth on these topics because they're getting more popular now, and I've worked with them for years and want to make sure that you have an in-depth understanding of how to connect this calendar system. This is a 5D and above time matrix system where time is fluid, and it all has to do with the DNA. Time has to do with our DNA. It's pretty fascinating. And I'm going to put out another video about physical body upgrades or sensations in this shift of more crystalline and silica into our beingness. On my Mystery School website, I do have mastery courses on working with quantum time and the Mayan Galactic calendar. I also have a full-on deep dive with the Lionsgate and Sirius and the Lyran beings, finding these aspects within yourself, Buddhist concepts of the lion's roar, the spiritual lion, and that's actually a part of the package for the New Earth One webinar. What I'm here to do is give you the deepest real of every topic so that it is thorough and you can explore it for yourself, navigate, pull out codes for yourself, always giving you that depth of the information as our sacred role here in the sacred knowledge economy. We have a lot of intensity coming up with the rest of the week with the astrology, and I highly recommend listening to Molly McCord, intuitive astrologer. She goes really nicely in depth. I'll share that video for this week. And on the day of the webinar, we're actually having some really powerful alignments again with Venus. So expect your value system and your financial stories and relationships to have some massive upgrades as you come into greater clarity on what your desires are. And I hope to see you for the webinar live, Awakening Holy Desire, coming into the Sacred Heart of the Lion with me. I thank you so much for joining me today, sending you so much love at these powerful times, inviting you to connect so deeply. Lots of love. See you soon.